Hello and welcome. In Northern Hemisphere, it's summer, and it's today also quite hot here in Slovakia. And that can mean only one thing, that the new version of Resco software, the version 14.1, our summer release, is out, and we would like to talk about it to you today. My name is Juraj Mojik, I'm head of product here at Resco, and with me there are also these four product managers that you can see on the screen: Eduard Keseli, Peter Matík, Miroslav Majtas, and Michal Magnusek. And we will talk about all the new features, additions to the Resco platform that we've added during the last quarter. As usual, this webinar is being recorded and will be available on YouTube shortly afterwards, but there are also attendees on the webinar which I would like to welcome, and that they can interact with us through polls that we will show during the webinars, but also you can ask questions. Of course, you are muted, so you can ask questions through the GoToWebinar window, and we will answer them at the end of this webinar session. So let's start and talk about our summer release, which was released on June 25th. So just a couple of days ago, basically fresh from the oven, and contains updates in multiple areas. The first one, which we would like to talk about, is the updates of Routes AI, so our new smart planning functionality. So we will introduce it and talk about some of the features there. Of course, as usual, we've improved the questionnaires functionality. So we will walk you through the three additions, like the questionnaire wizard, the button item, and more. And of course, the platform improvements as usual. Finally, we'll talk about the Resco Cloud integration options, which we have enhanced in this version as well. So with this, I would like to give word to my colleague Peter to talk about Routes AI.
Thank you, Juraj. Hi, everyone. My name is Peter, and I would like to introduce to you Routes AI. I will start with a simple question. What are the chances for success if your account manager arrives after opening hours of your customer? Yeah, they are closed, so 0. And in the better case, what happens if they arrive 5 minutes before customer leaves their office? Yeah, chances are very slim. For this reason, I'm happy that I can introduce to you our Routes AI functionality. Now it's available and you can start using it without any restrictions. So what it does, it's an enhanced optimization process that has some rules and exemptions that understands when are your customers available for visits and when not. So you can basically manage their opening hours and also mark some appointments as fixed. All these will be taken into account while optimizing your day. So now how does it work, or how you can set it up? It's very easy. You can do it only in few steps and you can have everything set up within, let's say, 5 minutes. First of all, you have to enable Routes AI in Woodford. Then you have to select your field for fixed appointment. If you want to use opening hours, you have to set up opening hours on entity where you want to use them. And of course, if you want your users to modify opening hours, you have to select field for those custom opening hours. As you can see, we have also updated design of our My Route section, and is on the right side. So what are the main benefits of using My Routes tool with our new Routes AI function? You can visit more customers with the same crew, save time on planning, drive less miles, and save gas money. So you can visit customers when they are available and not outside the opening hours or when they are not there. My route is integrated with Resco mobile app for your CRM that you are using. So it's available for Resco Cloud, Dynamics, or Salesforce, whatever you prefer. And of course, there are no limits on number of optimizations. So you can basically optimize as many times per day as you like or as you need. This new function, old new function, is basically aimed for people who can optimize their day on their own. They can plan it, they can remove appointments, they can replan their day as they need. It's not suitable for managers who plan work for others. If you like this new function, please contact your business development representative, or if you don't have one, you can contact us via email on mobilecrm@resco.net. Once we add your organization ID into the systems and your license is upgraded, you can start using Roads AI. Of course, we will provide you with free licenses for testing.
So before we move to the next section, let's show one of the polls. And I'm launching the poll, so you should be seeing it in a moment. And the poll is about which product catalog do you use in your sales scenario? So do you use the standard Microsoft solution or some kind of a third-party solution? Maybe your custom solution, maybe something with iframes or something very unique to your needs, or even don't use the product catalog functionality at all. So you can select one of the options and submit it. We are already getting responses, so I'll give it a couple of more seconds. Okay. And yeah, still getting more responses, which is great. And I'm going to close the poll soon. So if you were still thinking, now is the time to submit. And I'm going to close the poll. So let's click close. And I'm going to share the results with you as well. So you should be seeing them on the screen, which means that most of the answers were about the standard Microsoft solutions, that's probably something that you are using the most. Then not using product catalog at all, then custom solution, and finally the third-party solution with 5%. Peter, any comments?
Thank you very much, guys.
So thanks for the input, and I'm hiding the poll and changing the presenter to our colleague Miroslav, who will guide you through the additions to the questionnaires. Miro, I think we cannot hear you, so maybe you should unmute yourself and let's start over.
Yeah, sorry. Hello, everyone. Today I'll be talking about the new stuff that we added within the questionnaire product area. And our first topic is the new questionnaire wizard. And to understand it better, I'll start with customer problems. When creating questionnaires, customers are not aware that there are questionnaire options that determine, for example, how the questionnaire answers are stored, if they are template dependent, or when the rules are validated. These settings might not be immediately clear, and it might not be obvious which purpose they serve without checking the documentation. Also, we are targeting customers and businesses of various sizes. What's a good approach for a small company might not be a good practice for other that uses huge amount of questionnaires and questions. So for smaller customers, say the answer storage option set to records might work, but for a bigger company completing a lot of questionnaires daily, the JSON option may be a better fit. And we found it important to raise awareness of these options for questionnaire creators. So we're bringing the questionnaire wizard. It will run when you hit the button to create a new questionnaire, and it will allow you to set up important options before you start designing the questionnaire. The wizard consists of 3 screens, each with different options to set up for the questionnaire. If you already have questionnaires in your organization, settings of the last created questionnaire without the wizard will be reflected and pre-selected when you run the questionnaire wizard for the first time. The settings you'll choose here will be remembered for the next questionnaire. This is important for the consistency of having all the questionnaires set up the same way. And you'll be able to skip the questionnaire wizard if you've already set it up, so you don't have to go through it all the time you create a new questionnaire. So the first screen allows you to name the questionnaire and turn on scoring. The second screen has an important option here. Turned on versioning gives you more control over the questionnaires lifecycle. It will be turned on by default for organizations with no questionnaires created. Template dependency influences the questionnaire record's size, determines how big the completed questionnaire record will be. Template-dependent questionnaires are smaller in size. The images option stores the static images of questionnaire records in the template, or of questionnaire in the template. The full option means other template elements such as rules, styles, and descriptions are not copied and are not stored in the answered questionnaires, but only in the template. So what it means, this option basically removes the redundant data from each completed questionnaire. And the default for this setting is full for organizations without any questionnaire templates created yet. Answer storage influences how many records are created per answered or completed questionnaire. Records option creates 1 record per each answered question. So if you have a questionnaire with 100 questions, there will be 100 of records, question records created, one per each question. And while with the JSON options, there is only 1 serialized file created per each answered questionnaire. So all the question records are serialized into 1 file. That means you're syncing much less records. And the default option is JSON for organizations with no questionnaires created yet. The third screen has options for better rules performance and when to validate questionnaire answers, each time when the questionnaire is saved or when it's completed. After you go through the wizard, you will end up in the questionnaire designer, and the questionnaire options, you will be still available to change them on the right pane. So the questionnaire wizard brings the important options front and center, and we are introducing new defaults for new organizations in order to guarantee non-disrupted performance over time. Next, I'd like to talk about a new questionnaire component we added in this release. And let's start the topic with customer problems again. Options for saving and completing questionnaires have been available in the command menu. But customers provide us with feedback that despite the proper training, their technicians do forget and do not always save and complete the questionnaires. which leads to extra communication and incomplete data. So we are adding a new type of element for questionnaires, button item. Buttons will work similarly to button clicks already present on the classic Resco forms. You will be able to stylize and name them, and most importantly, assign an action to them. There is a set of pre-configured actions such as save and close, complete with a report, or run mobile report. There is also a possibility to create a custom command for the button item by using Resco rules engine. And I'd like to show you how it works in a short demo. So here I am in the questionnaire designer, opening up a questionnaire, and you can find the button item in the components tab on the left in the static components section. What I want to do is add a button at the end of the questionnaire so that the technician can complete the questionnaire using the button. So I pick the pre-selected option, and now I want to style the button. I'm picking a secondary pre-configured style, and I'm adding another button. This time I want the technician to complete the questionnaire with a report. And I actually want to assign the primary style of a button here. What I want to do next is make the life of a technician even easier. So for the serial number question, where the technician scans or enters the serial number of an asset, I'm adding a button under the question that will help us make the scanning easier. So naming the button, and this time I want to create a custom command for the button. It asks me to either set the rules now or later. So of course I want to do it now. And we are in the Resco rules editor. So I'm picking the step scan image, switch it to barcode, fill in the appropriate length. And now I need to select where I want the answer to be saved. So I'm going for the right question that sits above my button, and of course I want to save it as value. Interesting thing is that the commands or the rules for buttons are contextual. That means that you don't have to write the changed item condition because it is implicitly contained for the button item. So I'm going to style the button because I want it to stand out. And I want to see how it looks. We can see it's part of the questionnaire form now, as well as the previously configured two buttons for completing the questionnaire. Now let's see how it looks in the app. So I'm opening the questionnaire and going to fill it up. And of course, what's interesting is the scan barcode, how it works. So now I press the button, and we can see that it worked and filled in the value. So I'm continuing filling out the questionnaire. And what we really want to see is the two buttons that I added at the end of the questionnaire. And after I add the signature, I don't have to go to the command menu represented with the three dots. Instead of that, I press the complete with a report, and the action simply runs. I'm not sure if you were able to see it, but rest assured that it was there. It was going to run. So what's the key takeaway? Buttons will allow mobile users to perform some actions more quickly, and they're easy to set up for the business user. Final improvement I want to share with you is Result Viewer. This tool is an indispensable helper for many of our customers using questionnaires. It allows business users to see the questionnaire records filled in by technicians. Customers use it to filter out records based on certain answers, product IDs, and so on. Result Viewer is used daily, and now it's got new functions that will be really helpful for the tasks our customers want to complete. So Result Viewer has columns that are pre-configured, and this means that customers were unable to add their own, which will help them filter out and find the records they're looking for. What they really wanted is to customize the view so that they are able to include the currently unavailable fields from questionnaires and related entities. And the second problem we experienced, the customers, when they wanted to export records, the current mechanism only exports all the questions for the selected template. So if you have longer questionnaires, you may want to export only particular questions. And so far, that meant a lot of manual work in Excel. So what we did, Result Viewer has now a configurable view, a possibility to add columns from questionnaire field and related entities. This is done through the select field. This will allow customers to filter out and search for the records the way they need. In this picture, I selected some of the questionnaire columns that were previously not possible to get into the view, right? And with the reorder fields or reorder columns option, I can now set my own order of columns. And as a result, I have a custom view that shows just the information I want from the questionnaire or related entity fields. When exporting the records, there is a new option to export to Excel format rather than to CSV. But the bigger change is the possibility to export only some of the questions from completed questionnaires. So if your questionnaire, say, has 200 questions and you want to only export 5, you can do so through the checkboxes, and this is the solution for you. For customers that want to export attachments, there is a possibility to do so. All the attachments pictures are exportable to one zip, and you can set the file name here. You can also set or define the image name convention through this area. Here are some image name variables that you can use to combine the name of the image. And the image name example helps you and shows you how the file name will look like. So there we have the improvements for the Result Viewer. Customizable view for easier work with questionnaire records, possibility to export only selected questions, and export images conveniently named and packaged into a zip. Now, I'd like to turn to Juraj to run a quick poll to see what feature you are excited about the most.
So going into the polls and launching the second poll for today, which you should start seeing on your screens in a moment. The question there is about your favorite addition in the summer release for questionnaires. You've seen 3 features, so the 3 features are there on the list: Questionnaire Wizard, Button Item, and Result Viewer improvements. So please select the one choice which you find as the most interesting or most useful for your next projects that you will have. And we are already getting responses, which is great. It's kind of a fight between some of the options. So I'm giving it a couple of more seconds perhaps. So let's see which one will be the winner. Okay, this is interesting. So in 5 seconds, I'm going to close the poll and share the results with all of you. So I'm closing the poll and sharing the results. So you should be seeing them on the screen. So Questionnaire Wizard as the favorite addition for 32%. Bottom item component, the winner with 41%, and results viewer improvement with the third place, 27%. So it's not a very big difference in between the different features, but the button item seems to be the winner.
Right. So I must say I had a silent candidate to be the winner, but for me the results are interesting. It's, as you said, the result is tied up, I would say, and it's a good thing for me because it tells me that all the features that we added are somehow useful for various situations. So that would be my comment to the result of the poll.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So let's hide the results, and I think that's the end of your part, right?
Yes, that's
so
true.
In that case, I will change the presenters to our colleague Edo, and he will start his section soon about the um, platform editions. So you should be seeing it on the screen, and the word is yours, Edo.
Thank you very much, Juraj and Miro, for a great presentation about the questionnaires. So good morning, good evening to everybody who has decided to join our webinar and to see and to know something more about the new features. I'm going to tell you and I'm going to share with you some knowledge what we have brought with for the platform features. So basically all those kind of features you can reuse in different scenarios and you can configure through the Woodford. So basically let's start. Okay, so I will start with the notification batch. This is how we call it internally. So basically we have looked at the problem and we wanted to bring something which will solve the situation when a person, when the user wanted to see some, if there is something new. For example, if some ticket has been submitted or if some kind of incident have appeared or something like this. So we brought concept, which is, I believe, really very familiar to you. And is it with those kind of red dots with a number in the middle, which represents some kind of notification, something which is new. So what is the solution, what we are bringing? We have integrated or introduced these visual notifications through the badges. It's really fully configurable for each home item you can see on the left side. And basically you can as well select and configure the condition under which those kind of badges will be displayed. For example, if we have an incident and the new incident is being sent, so you can also configure, for example, under which conditions this badge should be displayed. Example, it is a new or submitted incident. So that was one of the features we are bringing to the platform and which can be reused for the configuration. Second one would be as well really important and is really very similar to the notification badges, and it's called auto refresh. So what does it mean? What does it solve? The problem was that if some user using our web application was looking at the static list, he or she was not able to see any kind of new stuff which might have been submitted or which might have appeared, like the new incident or the new appointment or the new opportunity. Or for example, if you have an organization when there was like 2 schedulers and they were just looking at the schedule board at the same time and they were doing the job and scheduling the work orders, it might not reflect the change, for example, when some kind of work order is scheduled. So what we are bringing in this, the solution was that we also integrated some configuration for auto-refreshing of the views. They can be configured for each view and schedule board as well. You can also possibly set up some kind of interval in how many seconds it can refresh that list, as you can see on the print screen. So basically from the Woodford, you can click on the menu item, you can click on the properties and basically set the interval in seconds in which the list should be refreshed. So let's move to the another feature, which is like really very nice, and I'm really excited to present it to you because, for example, it can be used in many scenarios and in complex cases when some kind of more complex visualization of the structure of the hierarchy of the tree is needed and required. So I can just list some of the problems, but possibly there is much more. Like right now, there was not the possibility to make a list, which, for example, for contracts which contracts are under each account, or in a case that we would like to use, or you would like to use the solution for tracking the assets, and there was not possibility to set up some kind of sub assets or child items. So what is the solution here? We are bringing the tree view. It's also fully configurable for the home items yet in the Woodford. And there are also many possibilities how it can be defined, which levels, which should be the first level, second level, third level, if there need to be some kind of other specialties. So this is also something which is really very nice. And we also would like to encourage you to take a look, test it, and give us some kind of feedback if you have. The next one would be as well useful item for the operators or schedulers or those who are using the schedule board. So what does it mean? In this, what we are doing, we are trying to solve the problem that if you imagine that when the scheduler is trying to schedule some kind of work order or appointment or any single kind of task, there was not easy solution that it will calculate it, how long it will take to that person to go to the service location, to go to any kind of location which is related to the field service. So basically, what we are bringing here is some kind of auto calculation of travel time from previous location to the next one. This kind of feature is really nice, and I would like to show it to you on the demo. How does it behave, and what you can see, how you can use it. So it's like really very short demo, and I will explain it to you through it. So let's start. So as you can see, you are maybe familiar with the schedule board, and if you would like to schedule any item like work order, you can click on it and do very simple drag and drop operation and schedule it to the resource. You will immediately see some kind of line which will represent and which will tell you how much does it take for the resource to get to the service location. In this case, it was 14 minutes. So, and if, for example, scheduler will schedule it too close to the previous kind of appointment, it will also notify the scheduler, hey, you should be careful because the resource might not be able to get on time to the next service location or to the next appointment. So this is also simplifying the work of the schedulers. From my side, that was it. Thank you very much for your attention. And now,
Yeah, we'll be changing the presenter to Michal. So just a moment. And Michal, the stage is yours.
Hello, everybody. I hope you see my screen. I'm really glad that I have also a couple of informations for you, Resco fans, to share, and also bring a couple of updates about the integrations in the newest release of Resco Cloud. In Resco, we know that the integrations are really important for our customers and also partners. The reason is because they craft maximum from our solution, from our product, and they would like to integrate on the data layer or process layer with other applications in the company's environment. That's the reason why we would like to provide as much as most possible options for our partners and customers to integrate with other solutions and make the integrations more easier and convenient. We started with the standards like REST API, OData API, and connectors like a Power Automate and TIBCO Scribe, which we mentioned on the previous release. But today, we would like to announce also another feature we would like to implement in the Resco Cloud, and it calls Resco Cloud integrations. What it means that it's integrations which are built in our solution without any other solutions needed for integration. Okay, let's go through the more details. Resco Cloud integrations, we will present, or they're already available in the release in the preview mode. We will work on this feature, and I will explain why it's in the preview mode and what will be released in the next couple of months. And it is especially about the migration scenario and synchronization service at all. So no middleware needed. It means that if you would like to integrate some specific solution, which we will provide in Resco Cloud integrations, you will be able to do it without any other third-party service. So you don't need to handle some third-party licensing or getting some knowledge about how to set up the integration with a third-party service. You can do it directly within the Resco Cloud integrations, which are the part of the Woodford. It is simple to integrate other solutions with Resco Cloud because we will use our, let's say, core integration service and set up other integrations later on. Which is also nice that we use the OData service, which is also really popular now. And we would like to also enhance the integrations with other services which provide the OData integration possibilities. And all in all, it's easy to build and set up the integration. So it means you don't need to set up some specific environment or middleware to connect our solution with other third-party solution, but you can do it directly within our tool called integrations in Woodford. So what we've done in our preview modes, what is already done is the migration scenario. So you are able to do the one-time transfer of the data from the source system to the target system, and you can do it once. So for the migration scenario, it works perfectly, and you can do it directly within the Resco Cloud integrations with Dynamics 365 and also with the Business Central. So for these two Microsoft products, we already provide the migration scenario, and you can try it in the Woodford. What will come next in the next couple of months is that we would like to provide also another level of the integration, which is not only the migration, but the synchronization service. So it means that we will allow our partners and customers to make a synchronization service between Resco Cloud and other third-party solutions like Business Central, Dynamics 365, and any other service which will support OData synchronization technology in the background. So that's the thing which we would like to achieve, but you can find the solution now in the Resco Cloud. You can try it, and later on you can try also the synchronization after the release of new enhancements in the next Q3 release. So that was all from my side. That was not too much, but I hope that in the next couple of releases you will get more information about the integrations, and we really hard working on the integration because we know how they important are for our partners and customers. So see you soon, and go back to Juraj.
Thank you, Michal. So I'll switch back the presenter to me. So just a moment. Okay, I also see that we already have some questions in the GoToWebinar, so feel free to add more if you have to any of the topics which you have seen, because in a moment we will get to answering your questions. But before we do that, I would like to talk about Resco Houston. So you've probably heard the news that Resco has a new product, and let's talk a little bit about it. And I think you should pay attention to this product, especially if you have one of these problems. Perhaps you are experiencing the knowledge gap, especially in manufacturing, or if you have lack of know-how and experience in your staff or in your processes. Of course, lack of staff, especially senior workers retiring, the so-called silver tsunami. Yeah, it's happening. It's a big problem in many different types of industries, such as manufacturing or in field service, and Resco Houston is there to solve it. Or there are too many tools for the information, for the knowledge, as well as lack of knowledge or poorly documented. And a very popular topic these days, the social distancing rules, which do not allow the knowledge to flow as it would typically with people really in the offices or in the spaces. So enter Resco Houston, which is one application which should solve as a single source of truth for the workers. So it has 3 tiers with the autonomous or self instructions like guides, PDFs, and videos. But then there is the second tier, which allows collaboration between workers, sharing the knowledge through chat and newsfeed. And finally, the third tier, when the worker really is out of the other options, they can have AR video calls with an expert remotely so they can guide them to finish the tasks. And there are always continuous improvements, so upskilling and trainings. And to give you a little bit more taste of how the Houston looks and behaves, I'm going to run a short video. So I hope that this has given you a sneak peek of what you can expect. But to get even a bit deeper and get your personalized demo, you can get in touch with us at houston@resco.net or via our website resco.net/Houston, where you can request a demo. So if you are interested or are experiencing any of the problems that I mentioned in the beginning, I encourage you to get in touch with us. So with this, I also want to mention that full release notes with all the details about this release you can find on our wiki page dedicated to releases, where you can find more dedicated technical info about how to set up the features you've seen today and how to move forward with some of the maybe questions or more complex use cases within the features. So this concludes the presentation part of our today's webinar. So I'm going to go into the Q&A section, and I can see that we have a couple of questions, and let's go basically as we've had the segments. So Peter, I would like to invite you to answer the first question.
Thank you, Juraj. So we have received questions which are related to our opening hours. And they are very good, I have to say. First questions would be related to some tool which would allow users to modify opening hours also from entity form. Yes, we will do this in the future. We have it already in our pipeline. So thank you for this question. We will definitely try to do something with it and introduce it to you as soon as we can. And another question is also related to opening hours, and is basically about the option to manage opening hours, not only as a basic ones, but also like preferred opening hours for visits. And this feature should be also introduced in the future, and we have it in pipeline too. There are also more questions coming, so let us check them.
Maybe in between I will answer one of the questions, which is interestingly not about a feature which we've seen in the webinar, but actually about something that maybe during some support sessions or conversations with Resco was perhaps promised within the summer release time frame, and that was the charts redo or charts update. So as far as I know, this is being worked on, but it will be available within the autumn release. So it get a bit delayed, and you can expect it in the Q3 release. So let me also provide one of the questions to Michal. So Michal, you should be seeing the question and perhaps want to answer that one.
Yeah, there is a question. If will the Resco Cloud integrates require the use of OData? The Resco Cloud integration works itself with OData. So at this point, we use OData, but there are a couple of other ways how to integrate. But the feature of the integrations work with the OData. So that's it.
And I think there is one more for you. I've just sent it your way.
Yeah, I see. Hello, in progress with custom triggers for Power Automate. Yes, we will work on them during this quarter, and they will be released in the next release. But nice point that you realized that this part is missing. Yeah, we work on it.
Thank you, Michal.
Welcome.
So if there are any more questions, feel free to let us know. I can see that there are some more questions that we would like to follow up perhaps via email. So if there is anything else, I'll give you a couple of moments to just write the question into the GoToWebinar window. And if there aren't any more questions, then I would like to thank you for your attention, and I hope we will hear each other soon, and that is with our autumn release, so sometime around September or October this year. So thanks again, and hear you soon.